The NBA playoffs are officially here. We've waited all season for this moment, and things are getting kicked off with the play-in. There's some pretty solid teams that'll be competing in this year's play-in tournament. We have the Lakers, Warriors, Pelicans, 76ers, and Heat that are all going to be fighting for their spot in the playoffs. But who's gonna make it? After about 6 months, the NBA playoffs are finally here, and we're starting things off with the play-in. Now, out west, it's pretty loaded. You guys can see we have the Lakers taking on the Pelicans and the Warriors taking on the Kings. Out east, we have the Heat and 76ers, which a lot of people expect will make the playoffs. And then we have the Hawks and Bulls who, the Hawks, look at this, 36 and 46, and they have a chance to make the playoffs. A lot of people have a problem with that. The Bulls, 39 and 43. A little bit better. Now, before I get into my predictions, first off, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're about to hit 2K subs. But on the last day of the regular season, I made a whole video about how crazy the last day was actually going to be. We saw a lot of things change, like the Suns taking that 6th seed from the Pelicans, who actually played the Lakers. The Lakers and Pelicans played. The Lakers ended up winning that game. And so now we have a rematch here in the play-in. The Pelicans potentially can miss the playoffs completely when they've been a team that for most of the year has been kind of, people expect they've been a playoff team. They're going to be in the playoffs, but now that's in jeopardy because the Pelicans may have to go up against, say, LeBron James, potentially Stephen Curry and the Warriors. It's just not an ideal situation for the Pelicans to be in. They definitely wanted to win that last game against the Lakers. And I will be dropping a full playoff prediction video once the play-in is complete with all of these other matchups, the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed. And talking about the 1, 2, and 3 seed, the Timberwolves lost to the Suns on the last day of the regular season. So again, the Suns took that 6 seed and the Timberwolves fell down to the 3 seed, because for a second there, it was looking like the Nuggets might have had that 3 seed, but they moved to the 2, which, by the way, that has major implications with the play-in, which we're about to get into, because the winner of this Pelicans-Lakers game is going up against the defending NBA champs, the Nuggets, in a 7-game series in the first round. That's something that you really don't want. And the 1 seed is the youngest team ever to have a 1 seed, the OKC Thunder. So that's a matchup you probably prefer to get that 8 seed instead of that 7 seed. So the first game of the entire play-in tournament is going to be the 8-seeded Lakers taking on the 7th-seeded Pelicans in New Orleans. Now, the Lakers have really dominated the Pelicans all year. They're 3-1 on them, and in those wins, they have a game where they won by like 44. They have a game where they won by, they're dominating the Pelicans when they do beat them, and they just beat them literally the last game. Now, the thing is, do the Lakers try to get smart here? Maybe the Pelicans do too, I don't know, but the talk here is with the Lakers, because last year the Nuggets swept the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and the Lakers just don't have an answer for the Nuggets. Let's just be honest. The Lakers in a series against the Nuggets, that is something that they do not want. So I was watching, ESPN, Tim Legler, I think his name is Mike Greenberg, and they were talking about this exact situation, and Greeny was saying the Lakers need to lose this game on purpose. They need to lose this game on purpose, play the winner of Warriors Kings, and just take that 8 seed so that they go up against the Thunder. Now, what do y'all think about this? In the comments, let me know. Should the Lakers take that risk? In my opinion, no. You don't take that risk. I know, yeah, it's probably a better path and all that, but I just don't see the Lakers and LeBron and AD coming into this game and just letting the Pelicans beat them, because then you got one shot. Steph Curry could go for 40, 50, and all of a sudden you're in Cancun. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers, LeBron don't even have a chance in the playoffs. Personally, I think they're going to give it a full-on attempt, and I do have the Lakers. Maybe that's surprising. I think the Pelicans are a 1-point favorite, so the Pelicans are expected to win here, but I have the Lakers winning this game. They've just dominated the Pelicans all year, and the Pelicans are a team that is really good on the perimeter, so against, really good guards. The Lakers are a team that's way better in the paint. They're going to be physical, dunking, backdoors, all that type of stuff, and I just don't think it's the best of matchups for the Pelicans, whereas when they do play the winner of Warriors Kings, that's a really good matchup for the Pelicans. So now we have the 10th seeded Warriors taking on the 9th seeded Kings in Sacramento. Now, a lot of people are just giving the Warriors this win. I think they're like 2.5-point favorites, something like that. So they are expected to win this game. A lot of people are just giving it to them. And I've dropped multiple videos on this channel saying the Kings are out. once Malik Monk, got injured, Kevin Huerter is also out. It's just too much. They're a team that last year, I don't know what seed they were, the 4, the 3 seed, something like that. They were like healthy like all year, like pretty much everybody on the team. That's what they had going for them. As soon as, they start to get a little injuries, they're not that same type of team. And you could say that with a lot of teams, but they're not even getting injuries to their star players. Like, it's just role players getting hurt, and that just takes them down. And I've been saying the Kings are going to get eliminated, but this is going to be a very good game. And I hope it's not too close, because if it is, of course, a lot of people are going to bank on the experience, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green to get it done. But De'Aaron Fox is really good in clutch moments. De'Aaron Fox is really good at the end of a game. I know they don't have the depth. They don't have Malik Monk. They don't have Kevin Huerter. But if they can make it close at the end of the game, in the fourth quarter, 1-point game, 2-point game, the Kings can definitely win this. I'm going to go with the Warriors because I am a Warriors fan, and I just do believe that, I'm just going to trust in Steph Curry. We had this series last year, went to game 7. Steph Curry stepped up to the plate, gave us a 50-point game in game 7, probably his best playoff game of his career. And I don't know. I don't feel great about this matchup here for some reason, but we will go with the Warriors. And I think a lot of people will agree with me and go with the Warriors. So we're going to have Warriors. We're going to have Pelicans Warriors in the next round of the play. But first off, let's do the Eastern Conference, which I'm going to go a little bit quicker on because I don't think as many people care too much about the East. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit more predictable. So we're going to start off with the 76ers in Philly taking on the 8th seeded Heat. Two teams that I feel like a lot of teams that are in the playoffs, the 1 through 6 in the East, don't really want to play. Like, these are some solid teams. Joel Embiid is back for the Sixers. The Sixers are a team that probably should have been the 2nd or 3rd seed, but of course Embiid went down, and they are a very scary team with Joel Embiid. I'm going to give them the win, but hey, the Heat could easily win this game. A lot of people have both of them making the playoffs because the Hawks and Bulls are just worse than them. I think we can all agree. So the Hawks Bulls, does it really matter? Maybe a little bit. I'm going to go with the Bulls though. Trae Young is back, but the Hawks have a lot of injuries. Sadiq Bey, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, they're just really banged up, and Trae Young's coming back for this. I don't know. They are just not capable of going far in the playoffs, even if they do get in. So it is what it is. Let's move on to the next round of the play-in, the final round of the play-in. It's just so tough, for these teams, because they got to win 2 games. They kind of put themselves in the situation, but they got to win 2 games back against the wall. Then they got to go into a series against the 1 seed. That's just tough. Now we got to get into this matchup with the 10th seeded Warriors taking on the 8th seeded Pelicans once again in New Orleans. And this is the sad part about this, because the Pelicans were a team that, again, were the 6th seed. I believe they were even higher in the standings at some point in the year, 5. I expected them to just snag that 6th seed. And honestly, I was thinking we'd get Pelicans Nuggets with the 3-6 matchup, a few days ago. But now, all of a sudden, things have changed, and maybe the Pelicans missed the playoffs completely. And again, the Pelicans are a team that is very good on the perimeter with, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. Even when Jose Alvarado comes in the game, they're just really aggressive, solid, lengthy defenders, and that will hinder a lot of guards. Steph Curry's pretty tough to hinder, if you want to say that, but Klay Thompson's got to have a solid game. The Warriors are going to win this game. Klay Thompson has to hit his shots. I do, want to go with the Warriors. The Pelicans might be the pick, though. That's probably the smart pick, but they don't have a lot of playoff experience, really none, unless you want to include CJ McCollum, that one Trailblazers run to, I believe, the conference finals, but that's not really anything, And Brandon Ingram's also banged up. I don't know. I'm just going to go with my team. I'm going to trust the experience. They've been there the past decade. They've won a ton of big games. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. I'm just going to believe in it. I'm going to be rooting for him. This could go either way. If you want to go with the Pelicans, I would not be mad at you. But I kind of do feel like this is going to be the matchup. Warriors-Pelicans. Let me know if y'all agree with me in the second round here. So I'm going to go with the Warriors. I'm going to trust in that experience. Steph Curry stepping up to the plate. But I really don't like this matchup at all for the Warriors. And if it was the Kings, give me the Pelicans again. I just don't see the Kings winning 2 games. Maybe they beat the Warriors, but I don't see the Kings winning 2 games. That would be kind of crazy. It's just tough for the Pelicans because they really do deserve a spot in the playoffs, but there's a lot of teams out west that do. And the Warriors are red hot since pretty much the trade deadline. I think 8-2 in their last 10 games. They've been playing good basketball, although a lot of people would like to disagree. Next up, we have the Bulls taking on the Heat. And, you know, you could get crazy and you could go with the Bulls if you want, but that is I mean, it doesn't really matter because the Bulls are going to try to win. But if this was what happened, the Bulls are getting swept by the Celtics. Maybe they win one game. You know, that's not even a series. That's a joke. The Heat, this was the conference finals matchup a year ago, and the Heat beat the Celtics in 7 to go to the NBA finals. And this is a different team for the Celtics. You know, they have Drew Holiday, they have Kristaps Porzingis, and if Kristaps can stay healthy, you know, he's been injured a lot throughout his career. If Kristaps can stay out there, the Celtics, I think, are just gonna pretty much run through the East. That's kind of a different story though, because we're talking about the play-in, but I will go with the Heat in this matchup. I just think it's too tough to go with the Bulls team, but hey, it's a one game, you know, sample size or whatever. It's a one game series essentially. So anything can really happen. Maybe the Bulls do win. Shit, they probably will, because there's probably going to be some crazy things that happen that are just hard to predict. And that brings us to our first round matchups, where we have the 8-seeded Warriors taking on the 1-seeded OKC Thunder. This matchup was already expected. Mavs Clippers. We have Suns Timberwolves, which has been locked in. And then we have the 7-seeded Lakers getting the rematch against the 2-seeded Nuggets. Will the outcome be any different? We're gonna have to see. And then we have the 8-seeded Heat taking on the Celtics, another rematch of the conference finals. Actually, we got 2 of them in the first round. Lakers Nuggets and Heat Celtics first round. That's crazy. Magic Cavs. This is gonna be a weird series, and all of them are good, but this might be the worst series to watch out of the first round. That's just me. I know they're all gonna be good. There's gonna be people that love to watch a series. Shit, I'm gonna like watching the series. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna watch all of them. But if I had to pick one, I mean, let's be honest, that's probably the one that's the worst one if we had to do that. Bucks Pacers, we do get that 7-game series that a lot of people have been wishing for all year after, you know, the Pacers kept Giannis's game ball. Halliburton eliminated them in the in-season tournament, hit him with the Dame time. There's a lot of beef going on here. Giannis is up in the air to play game 1 and potentially play in this series, so we'll have to see what happens with that. And then we have the 7-seeded Sixers taking on the 2-seeded Knicks, and we could have an upset there. That's something that I don't think the Knicks really wanted to see in the first round. But hey, again, make sure to sub up. We're almost at 2K subs, and turn on post notifications, because I'm gonna be dropping my full playoff predictions in maybe 3 days from now or so, whenever we do get the actual play-in winners. Because, you know, I made my predictions, but hey, I could be wrong, and I don't want to just fill out the whole playoff bracket with wrong play-in predictions. So that video will be coming soon. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to sub up, drop a like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.